If she has 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If she has 10 fans, I'm one of them. If she has one fan, I am that fan. If she has zero fans, I no longer exist. She's an actress, model, showgirl, and if I'm being honest, it's her world and we're just breathing her air. She's Jessa Flux, and this is Slasher Sports Cinema.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding?
I'm my number one fan.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
God, it knows I'm here.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
You're listening to the Slasher Sports Show with Billy Graves.
That guy is on the move. Like,
Yeah.
maybe not on the move, but like he never stops. Ever.
No, he was honestly, like, he was really shocking to me working with him because he had far more energy than I have, and I do believe he's in his mid 70s. But I mean, he was showing up early in the morning and he was partying to early in the morning and then somehow doing it again like every single day. Whereas I was dragging ass, like, seriously. Like,
Yeah, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm like, after 8 hours just doing mundane work, I'm ready to come home and nap.
yeah, same.
And yeah, and you're right. He's mid to late 70s, and there's no reason for him to have to do anything for anyone.
Well, I think he really enjoys it, to be honest with
He
you. Like,
does.
he and it's like a way of life for him since he's always been the face of Troma. I mean, he's actually in as a major player with Troma with a whole other guy that I don't know his name. It's Michael, I believe, something. But that other guy is not interested in really being the face of anything. Like, he just has like ideas and he's like a business partner for him basically. But like, I mean, Lloyd does all this stuff damn near for nothing. Like, I mean, I think they give him like a little bit of money to show up, and then also, they put him up in like a hotel and everything, and then we sold out everything at the booth just because he was there and people wanted to take pictures with him. But he didn't even require purchase to take a picture with him or get something signed. So you would get a lot of people like in the line that were just like, they had like a Toxic Avenger action figure that they've had for 30 years and they wanted him to sign it. And he was so gracious with like everybody. And honestly, like, I don't know, like, I would want to be like that gracious, but like, if I were that famous, like, I'm not sure I could be. Like, I don't know. I mean, he obviously sold everything at the booth, so that is money right there. But he's the face
Sure.
of it. He has to show up.
But he had a funny quote, and I can't remember exactly how it went. I'm gonna screw it up, but it was something along the lines of like, nobody makes movies and loses money better than I do. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's something along those lines.
I think I've heard him say that like a lot.
It's really close. Yeah, and you're right though. He will drop everything he's doing and help your film.
Yeah.
No matter, like, you could have the slightest relationship with Troma and he's there. And
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that. It really is a labor of love for him.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, I mean, it's his life's work, but it's like they say, you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know how true that is, because it just feels like he's being dragged in all these different directions and he always seems to come through.
Yeah.
I think he had a big role in, he was the guy in Cuck Island. Yeah. He was the main villain at the end.
I haven't watched all of Cuck Island yet.
Well, I mean, it's only basically what would you call it? It's screening in certain locations.
Yeah.
Locally in New York, right?
Yes.
Reeves was kind enough to let me screen it when he came on, and I'm very happy you allowed me to do that, because it's fun to see your friends doing good things, right?
Yeah, no, he was really awesome. I'm really glad that he had me to do that little intro for the movie. I hope it's still in there. I think it is.
It was in the version that I saw.
Okay, yeah.
And it's funny because I didn't know you at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't familiar with you as in, with your name.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't come along until later, because honestly, I did not grow up watching a lot of Troma films. Okay, I knew the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
I was kind of in a different zone when it came to horror film,
Right.
and just Troma wasn't like something I was watching. However, I have an old classmate who was making a film in our little one-horse town where we're from, and I said, you know what? I want to take this website, and we're not only going to cover sports, we're going to cover horror films, and I'm going to head that up. And I wanted to talk to him and just kind of be like, you know what? I know you. I've known you for 20, 30 years or whatever it is. And I just want to put your film, maybe promote it as much as I can on our website. All I did was a little article. It was just a little article to say, hey, support the film. Here's the Indiegogo or Kickstarter, whatever it was. And, the friend is Ben Johnson. He's, from the same small town I'm from.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, so, of course he directed Were Deer, and
Yeah.
I think you had a part in that as well, right? I
Yes,
haven't gotten to
part.
screen that one. Okay, I thought so. I have not screened that one because it's not together yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's together yet.
Right, hopefully soon. But
That is
then
an actual Troma movie, though.
correct. At
Yeah.
least a co-production, right? Because Ben and his crew have their hand in it. Of course, they're getting pushed big by Troma, which is fantastic for him, because I don't think anybody deserves the success that they deserve more than Ben does. He's a hard worker, and he's got a very good constructive crew around him. I like every one of them, and it was because of that article that I started to meet some people who I think are going to be lifelong friendships. Talking about like the Ben Schatzel. The guy will, he said that he was going to come out and he would help me, work on my film. And I was like, Ben, I don't have anything on paper, and you're already planning on coming to Tennessee. Okay, fine. You can come. It's fine. But on top of that, there was Reeves Elliott, Brandon Bassam, Jasmine Hanks. There's just so many names that it's going to be impossible to come up with them all. But it's just a really fun thing. And again, you see faces. You can't put names to the faces yet because you don't know them. And then there was the film that I really want to talk about this later when you get your thoughts on it. But when I saw Murder Size, I was immediately, I haven't seen the film, obviously, but when I saw the trailer, I was immediately turned on to this film, because it really throws back to just completely unrelated things that were huge in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad you guys made this film.
I'm
very
really
glad you made it the film.
Part of it, for sure. Like, it's going to be so aesthetic. Like, it's going to be, I wore a bit of lingerie in my, because I'm a B movie actress in the movie, and then they show one of my clips from one of my B movies in the movie, and so I had to dress, and they got me this actual 80s negligee that they ordered off of eBay. Like, everything is really like authentic in that movie, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I really got to be funny in it, and like that's kind of I love to be funny. Like, when I was growing up, I wanted to be like a stand-up comedian. So, to get that opportunity to like really like improv on set, like I knew where we were going, but like I got to like actually improv with, do you know who Drew Marvick is?
Yes.
Okay. So we had this hilarious scene, and I don't want to give it away, but we just went crazy with it, and we just like went on and on and on. They didn't like want to stop us at all because we were just being so ridiculous like the whole time.
With improv, you improv the scene.
Yeah. So I don't know what the editing's gonna be like. I know they're not finished with it yet, but like I hope that they get to include some of that ridiculousness in there because I think that people will really love it. I mean, I think it's gonna be fucking awesome anyways, but like I'm really proud of my part and I can't wait to work with Paul and Angie again because they were like so like down to earth and cool. And it was my first movie, like going to that's the farthest I've gone for a movie, California, you know, and it was in Sacramento. And so that was really exciting to me. I mean, it's not Hollywood, but it's damn near close. And, you know, I had a good time and they were just so welcoming and just cool people. And, they have done some other really awesome projects. I don't know if you've seen them, but I've checked them out and anything that they do from here on out, if they're willing to get me out there, then I'm willing to do it. Cause like they are a lot of fun and they get things done. Like, you know what I mean? Like we had a heat wave in Sacramento when we were filming that. And the studio that we were filming in, nobody got there early to turn the air on. And of course, I don't know if you know this, but when you're filming, you cannot have the heat or the air on. Like I damn near almost turned off the heat to do this because like I'm just so used to it. You don't want that hum. So we couldn't have the air on and we were doing those like aerobics moves, which I did the choreography by the way, but we were doing those moves and just, I mean, 100-something degree weather inside where you're baking. And but they were so cool about it. Like they gave us plenty of breaks, they gave us plenty of water. And of course, like whenever, you know, we were taking breaks as a whole set, they turned on the air and everything. And then the next day we filmed, they let the air run overnight. So, you know, it was just a matter of they didn't realize it was going to be that hot and nobody got there to turn it on the day before. You know what I mean? So it was like, but we like, it's like, regardless of what they're faced with, they overcome it and they get shit done. And I like that, you know, and they get it done well.
And you're talking about Angie D'Alba and Paul Ragsdale. How did you end up working with them? How did that meet? What did that meeting or that first conversation sound like?
Well, Paul reached out to me just because I think he saw that I've been working a lot in indie horror in the last year, particularly. I started in actually 2017, but of course, like I just did one movie. I waited for it to come out. I was like waiting for another chance to do something, but then that came out and that was Cannibal Hookers and people just like loved it. So like, they were like, let me work with you. Blah. And then of course, you know, 2020 happened and that put us all off of nobody was doing any kind of filming or whatever. But I guess he just saw that I was working with people in this kind of small industry, you know, and he got a hold of me and he just asked me like if I would be interested, if I would like to read it. I'm really like a stickler for reading a script before I say yes, just because there's certain things I don't want to be a part of. And not only just like me being in a certain type of scene, like I have boundaries, you know, but there's like, there's stuff that like, if it's in the movie, I don't want anything to do with it. Like personally, like I'm not like, you know, real prudish or anything, but like, you know, there's just certain things that like, I just don't want to have a hand in. I don't want to be like, even like remotely like related to. So anyhow, so I said, let me read the script, let me check it out. And I just got immediately excited because I mean, I'm playing a girl named Candy who's like I said, like an 80s B-movie actress that's doing this workout video as like a stepping stone in her career. And it's a hilarious, it's kind of funny because it's like me, you know, like it's like I'm like I do a lot of booby movies, let's just be honest with it. And like that's who Candy is and that's what she's all about too. And it's just like playing myself but like in the 80s or something. So I was really hyped to do it and I can't wait to work with him again. And I think we're doing OnlyFans. That was something that he's interested in doing. And I was like, I read that script too. It's hilarious. And
I love that title.
Yeah. Like it's like vampires, but like they have a website.
Right. I mean, I used to joke around that I was going to, you know, start my own app and it's only going to be baking goods. It would be OnlyFlans. And I thought, man, you can't get any better than OnlyFlans, but no, OnlyFangs is a little better. But no, you're right. That whole aesthetic from Murder Size is just mesmerizing because you want to go back to, you know, 80s. We talk about scream queens a lot in horror, right? But in the 80s, there was nobody hotter than those fitness queens. Okay, I'm talking about Jane Fonda, Suzanne Summers, Tammy Lee Webb. Tammy Lee Webb comes to mind because, geez, she was like so ahead of her time.
I don't know who that is.
because Tammy Lee Webb is I think she came out with the Buns of Steel stuff.
Oh, okay.
And like nobody was caked up in the 80s and popular for it. Tammy Lee Webb was like the first one that I remember like having those cakes, you know what I mean? And like it just wasn't the thing. In the 80s, you wanted like big up top, flat in the bottom. We don't want anything in the back. That's gross, right? But no, times are changing, right? If we're being shallow about it, let's be honest. But Tammy Lee Webb to me was like the first, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is different. This is very different because even if you watch, I don't know, what's that film with Jamie Lee Curtis where she and Travolta are in that fitness class and they're flirting back and forth and she's leading. I think it's called Perfect.
I know
Perfect 10.
I've seen the scene that you're talking about, like in like those flashback shows where they're talking about the 80s, and it's kind of like vulgar. Like she's like thrusting.
It is
like,
so vulgar, like hip thrusts.
I've
like,
never seen the movie though, but I know
you
exactly
can
what you're talking
the video.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazingly bad, but it's amazingly great at the same time because nothing really encapsulated that whole vibe quite like that movie. Like I remember specifically early 90s, ESPN2. We had just gotten cable, and I was in I want to say I was in my early years of junior high, and Kiana's Flex Appeal came on ESPN2 right at 7 a.m. Jessa. Okay. 7 a.m. Keep in mind, I'm supposed to catch the bus at 7:10 a.m. I missed the bus many mornings because of Kiana's Flex Appeal. Okay. There was just something about that fitness chick vibe. And of course, Kiana was like one of the first super muscular chicks that got, really hot on TV.
Yeah.
But I mean, you had the fitness craze, Richard Simmons, like not a physical specimen, but there was not a bigger celebrity outside of film than Richard Simmons. Okay. Yeah. And it was just a lifestyle that was changing. And if you could find things in that subgenre, subculture that you found sexy, then why not mix it with horror? And we just didn't get that in the 80s. I'm so glad, that this film is being made because it was a big part of, I guess, like young men's lives.
Yeah.
They were like, man, did you see Fonda on whatever show she was on? And there was no reason for them to be that famous. Like they're literally just, gyrating on screen to like a 4 count and some really bad music.
Yeah.
But God damn it, it was great.
Yeah.
And now you guys have made a film, and it stars, well, not stars, but you've got an appearance by Ginger Lynn.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing.
She's done other movies for Paul and Angie as well. So they have like a really good working relationship. But I think that's so key that they brought her into this because I believe she even had her own workout video that she distributed. So it's just like she was super popular in the 80s and she was like the hot shit back then. So it's really fitting that she's like a part of it, And unfortunately, she filmed the weekend after I filmed because they basically filmed in 2 weekends and I didn't get to meet her. And I have a weird story about Ginger that I will share with you now.
Do tell.
She contacted me several years back. I would say like right before maybe 2016 or something. And before I was like an OnlyFans model or whatever, I had my own website. Like I was one of those like pioneers of the.
You still do.
I do, but it's
right.
like I don't update it anymore. I go ahead.
So it's secondary to the big platform.
Yes. I leave it up because it's like a backlog of like work that I started with, and it's
don't ever lose it.
Filmed, it's filmed on like really crappy cameras and webcams and stuff, but it's people love that shit, so I still get a pretty
feels raw
of it.
I think that's what it is.
It's like what it is. But anyhow, she discovered my Twitter account, which was like promoting my old website, and she asked me to be on her, I believe it was a radio show, like I don't think it was a podcast, I think it was a radio show, and she was like on, I don't know, maybe Sirius Radio or something. And I totally forgot about it. And I wasn't as organized then as I am now about like knowing where I'm supposed to be and like actually showing up. I used to be kind of flaky. So I got the phone call from her producer trying to like line everything up, get everything ready for me to be on there. And I was like at the mall, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot. And I know who Ginger Lynn is. Like, I've always known who Ginger Lynn was because like right out of high school, me and my friends, we stole her mother's best friend's porn collection, and we all watched it. And Ginger Lynn was in one of the movies. It was called like Blame It on Ginger, and we loved that one. We would quote it all the time because we just thought it was so funny. We'd watch this like not even getting aroused. Like it was just like a funny thing that we all did. We called them porn parties. Anyways, so I didn't do the fucking interview, and I've always regretted that. And I doubt she even remembers it, but she might. And I just want to like apologize to her, but not like over, the internet. Like I want to apologize in person. I was really excited. I was hoping that I'd get to meet her and be like, hey, like you asked me to be on your radio show at one time, and like I flaked out, and I'm so sorry. And I hope that we can continue to have like a good working relationship. I'm really excited to be in this movie with you. And I didn't get that chance, man. And like I'm bummed out about it, but hopefully like I'll get to meet her because she does a lot of conventions. And I just started doing conventions like a couple months ago, really. I've only done a couple. And so I'm hoping that I run into her at a convention and I can just like introduce myself and just be like, hey, I'm murder side with you.
Today is your lucky day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ginger Lynn to the show. I'm kidding.
I would be so hyped.
It would be pretty good, right?
Yeah, that would be like really like those talk shows in the 90s where they would just have somebody come on and like be like, I want to tell a big secret. And then the person that the secret was about, they like walk out.
Walk right out. Like they knew it was going to come out. It couldn't be scripted, right?
She
could
just
not be
pops
scripted.
Up from behind my couch and she's like, I've been waiting for this moment.
Well, she's got a wealth of knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're into the content, it doesn't matter. She has an immense wealth of knowledge. She's like part of the who's who crowd. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no like Mount Rushmore, if you will, and I will. She's on Mount Rushmore. So fuck it, and not to spoil anything about like any of my friends' films. I wouldn't want to do that. But again, I did screen The Secret of Cuck Island, and who else opens this thing up looking only as she can look? Jessa Flux waving the red, white, and blue, making me feel like a real American. And I thought, Reeves Elliott, you son of a bitch. You do not know people who look like this. So how did you get hooked up with Reeves and Cuck Island?
Reeves was, involved in Curse of the Werdeer. So I think they just were looking for somebody that had titties and would show them, you know what I mean? And so I think he was talking to Ben about this idea because the movie was finished whenever they contacted me to do that little intro. But they just wanted a little bit of something to spruce it up or something. I don't know. That's how he like sold it to me. And I drove.
Fuck, man. I mean, that's one way to say it, because within the first few seconds of this film, hell, a guy has vomited, ejaculated, and shit on a couple of people making out in the woods. So there has to be a counterbalance. There has to be something to offset that. And he once told me that the whole point of a scene like that is to get rid of the people who are going to be offended so they can go ahead and walk out, and then the movie can start. And then the movie can start. So I'm probably going to, have somebody murder some puppies or something when I finally make my debut. I don't know. It's still in the air. But it's good. I'm glad I'm glad we had the same somewhat circle of friends, and I really look forward to their work. It's fun, it's unadulterated, it's unapologetic, most importantly. And I couldn't put it better than my good friend Ben when he said, look, if you want to make a thing, go out and make the thing. There's nothing stopping you. You don't have to have crazy connections to make a movie. All you need is a camera, a brain, and an ink pen, and you can make it happen. So,
yeah, I tell people that all the time because, you know, being that I've been in a few movies now, people always come up to me. They're like, yo, man, like, I've got like a script that I've been working on since 1992. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, man. Like, I appreciate that you're wanting to be creative, but the thing is, you just got to do it. Make it with your phone. Like, seriously, like there's been some movies that have won awards made with iPhone 4. You know what I mean? Like, just
right.
make it with your phone. Just, I think, because I want to make a movie, and I have like the outline for the script, and I haven't really like laid it all out yet. But it's gonna be goofy. It's gonna be a goofy kind of horror movie. You know, like not serious at all. That's not my style, at least not at this time. But you know, it's like I just need to sit down and do it. And I try to tell other people to do that as well. Like if you have a brain, like you said, and you have an idea, you can make a script, and then from there you can film it either on your own. I mean, I've been in some shit house movies, you know what I mean? Like whenever I watch them, I'm just dying laughing at the quality, you know, but that makes them, you know, honestly, that's like part of it. Like that's what people go out and they seek these independent movies for, you know. I think when people like want it to be a masterpiece and you know, they set their, I hate to be like, you're setting your sights too high, but they're setting their sights too high, you know, like it's not going to be Citizen Kane. You know what I mean? Like you don't have the same kind of stuff as like people in Hollywood or Netflix has. Like just make it, like make the movie, show it to your friends. And if nothing else, you can go to your dying like bed and be like, I made a movie. You know what I mean? Like that in itself is such an accomplishment to get it together and not only film it, but then get it edited, whether you're doing it yourself or you're hiring somebody to do it. All of that stuff is a huge undertaking. It is, but like, it's not going to get done unless you start making it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it won't end unless it starts. You're 1000% correct. And I'm glad you said that about Citizen Kane, because if you scour these Facebook groups, horror groups, God damn it, how do I put this? You don't go watching a film called Don't Fuck in the Woods and come to Facebook like Roger goddamn Ebert giving his dissertation on The Godfather. It's just not the same. And back in the day, you know, I hate to keep bringing up the 80s, but I'm going to do it again. Back in the 80s, we used to look at horror and say, you know what? It was terrible and I fucking loved it. And the whole point of this thought process is that bad horror is better than bad any other kind of genre.
Oh,
and I will go to my deathbed saying that. And Ben said another thing, and I'm so like blown away with what he said. But one of the big points that he brought up was that if you're doing a film and trying purposely to make it bad, it's going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But if you put every bit of your heart into it, and it just doesn't come out looking like you want it to come out, but it's finished and it happens to be bad, it's so much easier to become endeared to this film.
Yeah.
And I stand behind that 1000%. If you make a bad film aiming to make a bad film, ironically, it's not going to fly. And I'm not going to care about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you put together a Cook Island and we know that your heart and soul was behind it. My fucking heart and soul's behind it. Because why? Because you're my friend. You fucking made the film. And now I want to see it and I want to show it to other people.
And you want to
why?
tell
Because
people about it,
you
right?
busted your ass. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, Jessa, listen, I hope you rule the fucking world one day. You kind of recently said, something that resonated with me.
What's that?
Okay, you expressed, and I don't remember which social media this was on. Again, I'm just meeting you fuckers. I don't know you people, you know, but it was on one of our social medias. You expressed a desire to, I think you said, to star as the main antagonist in a horror film. Did you not say that?
I'm sure.
You said I want to be the killer in a horror film. Basically, is what you said.
Yes.
Okay. And like it jarred something loose in my head.
Yeah.
It made me want to, at the very least, get a screenplay together, whether it's a short, a very, very short, or just something on paper, completed using the vessel of a woman as the antagonist, as the killer, and for it to be like a slasher home invasion type film. And I think, there have been numerous female antagonists. Annie Wilkes from Misery, one of my favorites. Mia Goth, specifically from Pearl recently. It pisses me off that it's not going to get any Oscar love, but it should.
Why isn't it?
Because they don't take the horror films seriously.
I didn't know that.
Because they have to fucking rename something as a psychological thriller for anything to get any kind of credence in the Oscar voting process, I guess. But I mean, you've got your exceptions. Silence of the Lambs was one, but they rebranded it as, a psychological thriller. But either way, I mean, these are two characters that I absolutely love. However, as I'm writing, I'm making the conscious effort to, not make it ironic that the killer is a woman. I want the victims to simply know that they're fucking dead because she wants them dead. And I know that you've got to have similar aspirations in your screenwriting. I'm so glad you're further along than I am, because I can't seem to get over this block of, I guess the creative block.
Yeah.
So what do you have planned? Like, what you say you want to do something maybe a little less serious, maybe something along the same vein as maybe something like Troma has had going on for decades now.
Yeah.
So what do you got on paper? Anything that you can divulge without spoiling it?
I don't want to. I'll be honest with you, because like a movie is coming out or has come out recently that is it sounds similar to the idea that I have, except it's totally different. But I just feel like, ideas come. I've had this fucking idea for like probably 2 years now, and I haven't actually like written out the script yet, but I will. That's like my resolution for the New Year's, is to get the script down. And I have so many people that I've like talked to about it, not on podcasts, but like individually, and I have a lot of supporters that want to back this movie. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be, I hope, ridiculous. Just very stupid and fun and just like cartoon ridiculousness, kind of like Troma. I don't know if I'll have enough sick out type of things like how Troma does, but if I have any opportunity to do so, I will, absolutely. But I'm really excited about this project, and I hope I can get it done, at least started by the end of next year. You know what I mean? Started filming and everything. So, because one thing I've noticed with doing independent films is the process takes a long time. It takes a lot longer because you don't have the money and the manpower to just crank it out like Netflix can. So, sure. Like I do a lot of movies, and then the post-production is just lagging on. And that's not any dig to anybody that I've worked with that doesn't have their movie out yet. It's just like, that's just the reality of the thing, because, like either they think they can edit the movie together, and then they realize I'm not skilled enough for this and I need to hire somebody, and then they have to raise the additional funds to be able to hire that person, etc. So I think that because of the work that I've done within the community, I know enough people that I know I want this person on effects, I know I want this person to do the editing, I want this person to do the filming, etc. And those people are willing to work for me. So I feel like I already have my team like pulled together. I have to get it on paper, you know what I mean? So I can send it to people and get the actors hired, etc. You know what I mean? But
sure.
That's all I'm gonna say. I won't speak of it. I don't.
No, that's plenty though. That's more than I ask for. So that's.
But I mean, with that said, like you don't have to know who you're going to like work with. If you want to do anything, you just have to like try. Like, I mean, I know that sounds like so simplistic, and like people might like get mad at me for saying that, but it's just like so many people come to me and they're like, oh, you do, like, you're an actress in movie, like horror movies? Like, I would love to do that. I'm like, well, do it then. You know, like, contact these people. I can give you 3 directors right now that would hire you based on looks alone or whatever they have to offer. You know what I mean? There's a lot more than looks that a person has to offer. Maybe they look weird. They're going to hire you for that. You know what I mean? Like, you can get hired to do a movie. Like, if you have an idea and you get the right person to read that script, they're going to give you the money to hire the people to get it done. It's just a matter of, like, putting yourself out there. And I feel like so many people are just overwhelmed by the creative process. You know, like, they're just like, you know, I can't, you know, I don't know who's gonna like this. It's like, just make it, you know, like, and then see. And then your next movie, like, a lot of people, I don't know that I plan to do 2, you know, more than 1 movie. I just like to do the one because it make me feel really awesome. But, you know,
bucket list.
Yeah, but like, if like, a lot of people I know, they have their first movie and it's not the best, you know, like, for whatever reason, you know, it doesn't mean like the script was bad. Like, maybe the person you hired to film it, or maybe the equipment that they had, it wasn't the best. It didn't come out the best for whatever reason, but they got it down and they made it and they released it. And now they've made a fucking phenomenal movie because they have that experience. So, like, just do your thing, you know, like, the first couple movies I did, I don't feel like I did the best acting job. You know, I feel like I've learned how to act on the set, like, from watching other people, asking, like, how did you pull that out of yourself? Like, you know, how did you go about, like, developing this character or whatever? And most people that are creative, they love to talk. So you can get them to, like, tell you any kind of way that they procured, like, that accent that they developed for that role or whatever. Like, they'll tell you, like, how they went about doing anything. People that film, they love to tell you about the lighting. They're like, let me tell you about this light, because you're like, well, how did you make it look like that? Well, we use this and this is why, and that we use the color temperature of this, and we put like a backlight. You know what I mean? Like, people will talk to you about anything if they're creative. I don't know what it is. I'm sure you've experienced this yourself, you know, with like directors, that friends that you know, you can ask them anything and they'll go off about it forever. So I think that most people just
this last week. Sorry, just this last week, I had James Boylan on, and he's a sound guy, you know, primarily. And I kept telling myself that I'm not going to have anything for him. Like, he's going to be able to talk circles around me. I'm going to look completely clueless because sound is not my thing. Yeah. I think sound is of the utmost importance in a film. And I hope when your film does happen, that you get the most badass sound person that you can find, because it's half the film. But all I had to do was throw out a little line, and James was going to run with it. He's an amazing guy, and he's an expert in his field rather. You get that expert in their field and they won't shut the fuck up about it. And I really hope they don't, because they deserve to be heard. Yeah. Now, as far as you go, Jessa, though, you have more projects coming up in 2022, 2023 than I think you've had in your entire career. Like, half of your library is coming up in the next little bit. So you've been busy. The hustle's paying off. Yeah.
I'm trying.
You're succeeding. You know, I just saw a film called He Knows that you were in. Yeah. Okay? Yeah, and when we spoke last, you mentioned it was on Hulu. I said, I can't find it on Hulu. It's actually on Tubi. Yeah, sorry. Tubi for free. It's all right. I found it. I watched it. I was happy. But listeners, you can watch this thing on Tubi for free. It's a Christmas horror film. I'm a big fan.
It's also on Amazon Prime if you don't have Tubi.
Correct. Amazon Prime. I do not have Prime. I'm a Tubi guy. Okay. You know, got Shudder, got, you know, Netflix, Hulu. Just don't have Prime. But I did see the film. Very big fan of Christmas horror films. There's just something wonderful about taking a time that's supposed to be completely joyous and turning it red for the wrong reasons. But you also have another fun Christmas horror film coming up on the horizon, do you not?
Yes, it's XXXMas.
I'm glad you said that, because I didn't know how to pronounce it correctly.
I'm not sure that's how you pronounce it either, but that's how I'm pronouncing
it. It might be XXXMas, it might be XXXMas, but tell me about it. It looks like a fun project.
Well, I'm really excited to do this because Drew Marvick is going to be the Santa, the Dirty Santa, and like I said, we had such a freaking good time on Murder Size, so I'm really hyped to work with him again. And everybody that's been pulled in that I know of, like that I have worked with in the past, they're awesome. They're super professional and everything. So I'm really excited about it. We're promoting it now. We're trying to get funding. It's actually been going pretty well. Like I need to push it probably a little harder. So check out JessaDoesItAll.com for the link to the Indiegogo. If you would like to pre-order your copy, because that's how I always recommend people. They're like, how do I get your movies? How do I get your movies? I'm like, well, if you pre-order your copy, not only will we be able to hire an editor and get it out quicker, but it'll come straight to you, you know? So go there and pre-order your copy. But this is going to be a really fun project. I don't want to give too much away as far as like the plot line and everything, but it's what you would expect with a name like XXXMas. So it's not a porn. It's not a porn, but it's based on porn people. And like the director, James Dean, he's really dedicated to not representing sex workers in a negative light. He wants to be as realistic about the people in the industry as he can, and I really respect that. And I'm happy to be a part of something like that, you know, because as a person that like that's my background. Like I am a model and a dancer, you know, at bars. So I hate it when people always say like, oh, well, she's a stripper. She has to do, you know, she has to be on drugs or whatever the case may be, whatever silly stereotype that they have in mind for that, you know, career path or whatever. Right. He doesn't want to like spin it that way. And so I really, really, really respect that. And I'm excited to do that for him and be that realistic, you know, porn star for him.
Whereas you may have a serial killing sex worker, you're probably also going to have a mother of two who's very responsible and only wants to get off of work in time to go to the bank before she goes home, right? Yeah. So you're going to have it all. And listen, Jessa, a big part of the reason that you've got so much on your plate right now is your content creation. Before we go any further, do you want to tell your listeners, our listeners, where they can find your work?
Yeah, you can check out my website. It's JessaDoesItAll.com, and that has all of my links on there. It has links to my Instagram pages. And yeah, I did say pages because I have a backup. And then I also have one for my makeup because I am a makeup artist as well. I do a lot of events and weddings and stuff. And I also have hair on there too, because I do hair as well for a living. And then it also has my OnlyFans. It has my TikTok, even though I'm not very, I need to be a little bit more creative with those things. But yeah, you can find me on all of my stuff on JessaDoesItAll.com. But what's most important is that you can find any projects that are currently raising money to be either made or finished to be made, or you can pre-order them. Like Murder Size, you can still pre-order because its campaign is in demand. So you can still do your contribution there and get your Blu-ray already ordered. It'll come straight to you, and that'll be out in early next year. And then you can also help out with the XXXMas. Now I'm calling it that because you said that. And honestly, I feel like that rolls off the tongue a little better.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. XXXMas. But
you should get an IMDb credit for that.
You really should. You really should. But you can get a copy of that pre-ordered. And so I always try to promote the movies that I'm a part of. You know what I mean? Because as an actress, I think that's really important. I saw a post from a director earlier today that was kind of complaining, and it was like, why do actors and actresses that I've worked with never promote the movie that they're in? And some people were like, well, it's not their job. Like they get paid to do the acting and then they, you know, go home and they're done, you know, and I get that. But, you know, personally, like I want people to see my work. Like whether you buy the copy of the movie from me or if it's on Tubi, and you can see it there, like, please go see my work, like, go see what I can do, you know, so I can make more, because the more like traffic I can generate towards Tubi or Amazon Prime, We just had the embalmers go up on Amazon Prime. You can rent it or you can buy it on there. And I also have copies for sale of a lot of these movies. So you can always hit me up and I'll send it straight to you with a little note saying thank you. And I have like a lot of knickknacks. So I throw that stuff in the package too, just random shit. So any package from me is very exciting. You always get some kind of random extra gift with it. But I try to promote my movies because I want people to see them. I want like the whole point I feel like of being an actress or a performer of any kind is to be seen, right? So like,
correct.
I'm just gonna like share it to the end of time. But JessaDoesItAll.com, you can always see what I'm up to, and you can see my IMDb on there too.
And we're gonna have that link and most all your links in the episode description to this episode. Guys, I've already gave a little bit to Murder Size myself. For $5, you get a social media shout out. It's one of the perks on Indiegogo. So why the fuck not, right?
Yeah.
Plus, you get to see this really banging ass movie. And Jessa, should we go ahead and look at the trailer?
Go ahead.
Let's rock this thing out. Okay, so we might need to go volume. Look at her. Just look at her go.
We are going to make a fortune.
This couldn't be any cooler. Calm down, August. Okay, so so that's Kansas, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know a lot about Kansas before this film. And as it happens, having the mutual friends, you kind of just start paying attention to people that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. And it's like, okay, cool. I like what's going on here. Look at this aesthetic. This is 1985 at its best. And there's me.
There's Drew.
Fucking Drew. Look at the hair, the bangs, the Aquanet pink.
Yeah.
The neon colors, the spandex. I fucking love this. Everything about it.
There's
Look at
Ginger.
it. Ginger in all her fucking glory. Okay, chill out. Murder Size. Guys, what is this? Oh, I was going to show you this. Yeah, this right here. This is what this all harkens back to. This is fucking Olivia Newton-John. I can't play the audio because I'll get it.
Let's get physical,
look at that.
right?
Jessa, you wish you had cake like that. I wish.
I would just get a machine like that just to wiggle it.
Right? Set up that ring light in the camera. Fucking Olivia Newton-John. What the hell, man? This is gonna be probably my most anticipated indie film of the year, and it's gonna come out early 2023, I think. Maybe a little bit later than early 2023. But when it does come out, I'm fucking there. I can't wait to see it. So, Jessa, before we slide off into the gag reels, do you have any final thoughts before we end this thing?
Not really. Just check out my stuff, check out what I have to offer, and if you're a director, hit me up. I'd like to continue to do more acting because it's a lot of fun for me to pretend to be other people. I don't know if that's like a trait of like my sociopathy or what, but it's a lot of fun to pretend like you're someone else. So hire me, check out my work, support me, be a friend.
Be a friend. There's a word for that. It's called identity theft. Okay. Don't get mixed up in shit like that. But guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Slasher Sports Cinema. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. Visit Jessa's links in the description. Support indie film. But as always, go forward and may you drink the blood of your enemies from the skulls of their children.